My understanding was that the Premier was less keen on this kind of very bold tax reform. But of course, the problem with cutting payroll tax and stamp duty, at least the political problem, is you need to get the money from somewhere else. And no one likes talking about land tax, although it's a very efficient tax. And so I certainly support what the Premier has said. But the reality would be that if they do want to scrap stamp duty or cut payroll tax, then they're going to have to shift to a system where essentially everyone pays a little bit of land tax over time. It's also worth pointing out that payroll tax gets a very bad name, but it's nowhere near as bad a tax as stamp duty. It's kind of like an income tax, really. I'm not saying it's a great thing, but in terms of efficiency, it basically functions like an income tax.
Just on these KPMG figures this morning, Adam, what are your thoughts on those? Is it much of a surprise to you? There's some sectors that are going to be feeling the pinch for about 2 years.
No, look, it's certainly not a surprise, Pete. I mean, I think the takeaway message from that really is that it'd be much more sensible to target the JobKeeper payment to those 3 or 4 very heavily affected industries. I mean, many industries in the economy will be getting, this $1,500 a fortnight for quite some time, and I think you could make the fair argument that they don't really need the money, especially if the economy bounces back sooner than we thought. I mean, at the moment, the way JobKeeper is set up is if you satisfy the criteria in March, you're still getting the payment in August, even if you're effectively back to normal. And I think that that's an extraordinary waste of money.
TS is giving a speech today. Josh Frydenberg giving a speech as well. I mean, they are, despite the doom and gloom that is the economy at the moment, trying to stay positive. But, Matthias, they're pointing to a strong recovery. Do you see it that way?
No, look, I don't think that there will be a strong recovery. I think one of the biggest problems is going to be that many businesses get quite used to these JobKeeper payments, and then come September, there's going to be extraordinary political pressure to extend them further. And I think the government is basically going to have to call bluff on businesses. And the sad reality is many people will suddenly get laid off in September because businesses won't be able to afford the staff without the JobKeeper payment. So I think no, there's not going to be a sudden snapback. I mean, I tend to think if the economy falls 10%, by the end of the year it might climb another 5% back again. But I think that final 5% is going to take many years.